Welcome back to Burner Tuner, and today we are tearing into the VVT Miata engine. We're going to be doing a head gasket, some studs, and replacing a whole bunch of goodness. Let's get into it. That's right, folks. Today we're tearing down the engine. We are going to be taking off most of the accessories, disassembling the timing system, and pulling the head. The reason we're going that far is because we are replacing this head gasket with one from a 94 to 2000 model. And the reason we're doing that is because Mazda, in their infinite wisdom, decided the band-aid fix for the rear cylinder cooling issues was to block off or partially block off some of the ports on the VVT engines, and that just leads to inadequate cooling everywhere. So we're going to go back to the old style 1.8 head gaskets, and we're going to stud it. The reason we're studying it is because there's future plans for this car that include some boost and more than what these factory head studs can handle. And because genuine Mazda head studs are going to be just as much as some aftermarket ones, we did decide to go with ARP upgraded head studs.
Wow.
So that's enough talking. I'm sure you're tired of listening to me talk. You just want to watch me tear apart some stuff. So let's get into it. Come on, baby. And here we go, having a look inside of the head here. This does look really clean considering this car has about 180,000 miles. I'm not upset with this. We got some slight wear on the cam lobes, but nothing crazy. Everything I'd say looks pretty clean in here. Okay, next up is going to be removing the timing cover and the components up front to pull apart the timing system and then lift the head off. Wow, this is just so crusty, it's just falling apart. That's impressive. And those all just fell. There we go. Let's get out of there. All right, so we're back. It is a new day, time to continue this. Now we're gonna be taking off the timing belt system, pulling this head off, inspecting the internals, and then talking about our plan and what parts we're replacing as we put it back together. Okay, so looks like this is our main tensioner here, and we've got this spring that pulls it tight, and then the tensioner is tightened down. So we'll loosen this up first. Okay, next up, we're gonna pull the cam gears off. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Fuck. Why are these camming out? Oh my God. Fuck no, dude. Shit. These things are starting to strip out on me, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. That is very much stuck on there. God damn it. Okay, so this is bad news. These are insanely tight. I've already stripped one out completely, and I don't want to get to a point where I'm totally trying to get this thing back on. It doesn't look like the cam seal is leaking that bad, so against my better judgment, I really want to replace that cam seal, but I think I'm gonna leave it. We'll just deal with it. It really upsets me, but I can't do anything about this. These bolts are totally freaking stripped, and yeah, it pisses me off. All right, guys, well, I couldn't bring myself to just leave this thing as it was. It was gonna bother me, and I was able to get them out with the use of some left-hand thread extractors. So these came in clutch. If you're gonna be doing this, I highly suggest you pick some of these up so you don't find yourself in the same situation as me, but we did get that sucker off. And now we have access to the 17 mil inside that's gonna let us pop off the VVT cam gear. All right. Now the main reason I really wanted to get that off is because I'm trying to get the plate off from behind the cam gears, which will allow me to take off the water neck as well. Okay, so all the accessories on the front end of the engine are off. We're gonna loosen this in a sequence in order to not warp the head or distort anything as we lift it off. And then we'll look at the inside of the engine and see how it looks. Now these head bolts are a 12 point, so you're gonna wanna get a socket that looks like this. You wanna have maximum engagement on the heads of these bolts. You definitely don't wanna strip this like I did to that VVT cam gear cover. So let's go ahead and start getting this thing loosened. So fortunately, ARP gives us a nice little chart here for torquing it, and you can see it is a increasing spiral as you torque it. So we're gonna go backwards as we loosen it. And we're gonna loosen it a little bit each time. So again, we're not gonna totally undo one side and let the head potentially warp. We definitely wanna be careful and mindful when we're doing this. All right, first up. Oh, that is on there tight. Oh my God. Okay, broke loose. Guess that's what you get after 20 years. That is tight, man. There we go. All right, guys, here is a look at some 180,000 mile Miata pistons. And I gotta say, they look pretty good. There's some water in here because I went outside and sprayed the engine, and inevitably some of it was gonna get in there. Not a huge deal. The head surface looks pretty good. There are no apparent areas that I'm seeing where there would have been leak by. Everything seems to have been sealing pretty well, so I'm happy about that. I'm confident this does not need to be decked or machined. We're just gonna give it a good cleanup, take a flat blade and go along the edges and clean this up as much as possible. And then we'll get our new head gasket on here. And here's a look at the underside of the head, and more of the same. The sealing surfaces all the way around each cylinder looks great. There's no apparent leak by, blow by, any kind of coolant intrusion into the cylinders. So I'm happy with that. Again, we're gonna do the same. We're gonna clean up the surface here, get it as spotless as possible, and put the new head gasket on, seal it back up, and we've got some ARP head studs to go on there with it. All right, guys, well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're liking how the Miata is progressing. Next episode, we are going to be reassembling the engine with some new parts and getting this thing closer to being back on the road to Laguna Seca. And as always, we do thank you for checking out these videos. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing or at least hitting that like button. It definitely helps us grow our channel. So from all of us here at Burner Tuner, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.